Okay, today we're going to be having a look at how to find bargain properties online in minutes. We meet a lot of investors around the country and they all seem to be saying, I'm really struggling to find great deals. And what they really mean is, quite often, they don't actually know what they're meant to be looking for. So, today we're going to be having a look at properties in Weston-super-Mare, which is where I own a number of properties, and properties that stack up best in this area, give the best rental returns for the purchase prices, tend to be one-bedroom flats. They've been really hardly hit since the credit crunch and have fallen in value significantly. So as professional investors, what we're looking for ideally is anything that we can buy at a very keen price and affords the ability to add value, therefore forcing the appreciation of the property, looking to refinance and then take our money back out and leave us with a property with very little money left in it, perhaps no money left in it, and making a monthly profit from the rent. So we're going to have a look at one-bed flats. Now typically in this area I know that a one-bed flat in a reasonable condition will value at around about £75,000, possibly a little bit more. And they'll normally achieve around about £450 per month in rent. So we're looking for a minimum of one-bedroom flats and apartments. Now I'm going to show you some of the tricks of using Rightmove to find these today. So Rightmove automatically shows you the highest price properties first. So we need to change this straight away. We're not going to be buying any of those. Click lowest price. And this brings up the very cheapest properties first. Now, this is always an interesting one because the very first one here looks like a great condition property. It's actually a two-bed flat, 47,500. What we know straight away is that actually this isn't for us. This is a shared ownership property. So we're going to get rid of this one. Right. Scrolling down on Rightmove here, we're only interested in non-shared ownership and non-retirement properties, neither of which we can buy as an investment vehicle. So what we're looking for when we scroll down, we know that in a reasonable condition these are going to be worth around about £75,000. If you don't know what property's worth in your area, best advice I can give you is to go and have a chat with a local valuer or surveyor. They'll tell you what properties are valuing for in the area. So here we go. Okay, so very first property that kind of looks of interest is Upper Church Road in Weston-super-Mare. It's on at £50,000. That looks like a reasonable building from the outside. That's quite a lot less than we would normally expect them to be coming on at. And that always kind of rings a bell and you think, that's interesting. What's going on here? So let's go in and have a look in a bit more detail. Okay, so the pictures are normally a dead giveaway of what's going on in this property. We can see that actually it's in reasonable condition. There's a little bit of furniture left in here, but obviously the property is clearly vacant, so it looks like maybe someone's had to sort of move out rather quickly and not have time to empty it. If we click in the kitchen, there's some real giveaways here. Normally, if this was a repossessed property, we would expect the taps, the boiler, the toilet sinks, and the appliances to be taped over, indicating they're not in use. Now these haven't been, but we can see that there are signs on here saying do not use. Signs on the cooker, on the grill there, and just above, and on the taps behind there. Looks like this indicating that these are not in use. There's also, which would indicate this is a repossessed property, possibly. There's also a sheet of paper just here, and you may not be able to see it in your screen, but there's one down here as well. Now this to me looks like a viewing list, a list that the agent is keeping of the number of people and names of people who have viewed this property. Now they're keeping this for the asset management company, so they can show a record of activity of number of people that have been interested in the property to feed back to the asset management company. Now repossessions are great because there's no emotion involved in the sale. Your offer will either be accepted or not. There's no homeowner there thinking, hey, I paid a lot more from this 10 years ago. I'm sure my property is worth more than this. I own the nicest one on the street. It's just not how it happens. So this is an interesting one. Certainly the possibility to add a little bit of value and buy this at a really, really keen price. So might be on it at the moment for 50,000, I think it was. We'd be probably looking at putting an offer in the sort of low 40s and seeing if that got accepted. So that's the first one we've had a look at. Okay, actually it looks like that property is on twice with 2 agents. So that's another indication that they're keen to get this sold. Okay, so we're going to scroll down a little. The next property is on Locking Road, 1-bed flat on it, 54,500. I'll just wait for the image to come out now. This looks pretty unloved. This property, I know for a fact, has been on the market a long, long time. If you don't know, you can install a piece of software called Property Bee, which runs alongside Mozilla, and that gives you a really, really interesting box at the bottom showing you all of the activity. So we can see that this property was actually put on the market originally at £89,500 in, look at that, that price was dropped in February 2011, and since then they have consistently dropped the price, so now we're on at £54,500. Looks pretty unloved. There's only one external picture, which normally indicates that the estate agent has very, very little interest in achieving the best price for this property. Very little motivation for them to market it effectively. Now, what that could normally mean is that it's a repossession again. The amount that the agent will get paid for selling a repossession can be perhaps just £300-400. So you'll quite often see just an external image of a property, or even just a copy of the energy performance certificate. They put it on a low price to get the property moved as quickly as possible. Clearly it hasn't been working here. There must be something wrong with this property. I would suggest that probably it's clearly going to need a lot of work, but in addition there's going to be some kind of legal problem with the setup of this property, making it probably impossible to obtain mortgage finance on. Doesn't mean it's a bad deal. Some of the best deals I've done have been exactly this. Buy it unmortgageable, buy with cash, sort out the problem and refinance at a later date. So you might be looking to put an offer in the sort of mid 30,000s here and see what was accepted. So that's the first 2 properties we've looked at in less than 5 minutes. Have been kind of interesting. So we're just going to carry on a little bit further and see what else there is. Okay, so this one has it's always interesting scrolling through these. Okay, so we slightly newer build, probably sort of 60s purpose-built apartment here, as opposed to the Victorian terrace conversions that we were looking at just now. We can see that an offer has been made for the property of £61,700. That's definitely a repossessed property because they are legally bound to give notice of the offer that's been received on the property. Again, next property, exactly the same. An offer has been received in the sum of £59,950. Again, repossession. Okay, and another one, Swiss Road. Again, Victorian, or I think it is Victorian terrace conversion. They've had an offer on at £45,500 for this. That looks like a decent building from the outside. Going to be pretty much near the town centre. Let's just have a look inside. Reasonable condition. Kitchen could do with a little bit of TLC, but it's by no means horrendous. And let's just wait for the bathroom. Yeah, could just do with a little general refresh, really. Now, this one may not be for me, personally, because it's in pretty good nick, so it's not actually affording the opportunity to add too much value to it. However, if you're not worried about getting your money back out again, this is a great little property. To be picking up at around the sort of £50,000 mark or less, and achieving £450 a month rent on. So let's just recap at the ones that we've looked at so far. Pretty clear that almost all of them have been repossessed properties, probably priced a lot below what we would expect them to achieve in great condition. Again, I'm going to reiterate this: if you do not know what they're going to value at once the work has been done, you need to speak to the local valuers in your area. They'll give you a really good idea of what's really happening in the market. I'd be looking at, for all of these properties, probably offering a little bit less than they're on for at the moment, spending hopefully between £5,000 and £10,000. So my total spend on that property is going to be around about £55,000, maximum £60,000, including all of the works to be done. And I'd be looking to get it valued at around about £75,000. So when we apply for the remortgage in 6 months' time, we're left with no money or very little money left in that deal, and still very high yielding property on the debt that we're carrying. Okay, so that's taken probably around about 10 minutes today to find 3 or 4 properties that I would personally be interested in looking at. I hope it's been of use. If you're watching this for the first time, if you know what you're looking for, then finding bargain properties to go out and look at right now and make offers on is very straightforward. So I hope you look forward to listening to the next one of these.